Welcome to another session of microengineering. Today we are going to deal with a special problem. Please note this problem is solved in Samuel Leo, but for your reference I have solved it again, given you steps in easy way. So I request you all are supposed to do this problem and check it for yourself. It is normally asked in Mumbai University papers also. So let's continue. The speciality about this problem is this, that the characteristic impedance of the stub chosen and the already existing transmission line both are different. They are not having same characteristic impedance. Till date, whichever single stub and double stub matching you have done, both were working at the same characteristic impedance. So in the problem, it is given a lossless line of characteristic impedance R naught 50 ohm, should I be ohm, sorry, ohm is to be matched with a load of ZL. L is equal to 50 upon 2 plus J 2 plus root 3 ohm by means of a lossless short circuit stub. The characteristic impedance of the stub is 100 ohms. Find the stub position closest to the load and length so that the match is obtained. It is a problem given in Samuel Leo. We all know that we always start the problem by saying y11 equal to yd plus or minus ys is equal to 1. Why do we write that? If you remember, we used to take it always as this point. This is your y11, right? It's already shown over here. This is y11, this point I'm sorry. This is your y11. At this point, your yd, this part, your yd and the position of the stub both has to be equal to 1 so that the imaginary component gets cancelled and the real part is always equal to 1. That's why you're getting a matching. So how we are going to find out? That procedure is written. I have solved the problem for you all. So first of all, we are supposed to normalize it. Now the speciality, the twist that the paper setter can give is maximum this much, that ZL is equal to, capital ZL is equal to 50 upon 2 plus J 2 plus root 3. We all know root 3 is 1.732 and 2 plus 1.732 becomes 3.732. So it is a simple thing. It is 1 upon. So in the problem it is 50 upon 2 plus j. So this thing, if you are taking small zl, it will be capital ZL upon 50. So that 50 and 50 gets cancelled out. This 50 and one more 50 will come when you're taking it. That gets cancelled out and you get the value as 1 upon 2 plus j, 2 plus j root 3. This is ZL. Instead of plotting ZL and taking YL, you can also take directly YL. So ZL is equal to 1 upon this. So YL will be what? Just the inverse of that. So the YL directly you will get. So you need not plot ZL, plot VSWR circle, then admittance point. That process you can avoid. You can directly take YL over here. So I have written over here clearly that you can plot YL and draw VSWR circle. Now after taking that, you have Y1 equal to, how did you get this Y1? After you plot the YL, after you plot YL and draw the VSWR circle, you will observe that VSWR circle will be intersecting the unity gain circle at 2 points. So in clockwise direction when you go, the first point will be your Y1 and the second point will be Y2. The points are explained in single stub matching in shunt and series both. It's common procedure. We are following the common procedure till date. Then we come to D1. If you remember, how do we take D1? The distance between Y1 and YL, that point distance, that is D1, and D2 you can see why did we take such a long step, that D2 must be other way, other round, that I'll show it to you in smart chart. So after that you find D1 and D2. Till here the procedure is similar. I hope you remember we have done in single stub matching. Now after this, since the stub are having two different characteristic impedance, your Y11 is equal to YS1 plus YD1. Yes, for the second part, when the characteristic impedance of both the stub chosen and the already existing transmission lines are not same, what do you do? For that, the formula is written that y11 equal to ys1 plus yd1. This we already know. We always use this formula. This for small y11 can be written as capital Y1 upon Y0. You know how to normalize it. So we have just normalized it. We go to the next equation. We are adjusted the equation as y11 y11 y0 is equal to ys1 ys0 into yd1 ys0. When not ys0 y0. When you're adjusting the equations, we get this ys1 into capital ys0 is equal to y11 minus yd1 into y0 upon ys0. Now the question that comes is z0 is given 150 ohms, so y0 has to be 1 by 50. ZSO is given 100, so YSO is 1 upon 100. When we are taking this formula, the final answer you will get it as plus j 5.4. Once you get your ys1 as plus j 5.4, then it is easy. You just have to plot the ys1 on Smith chart in terms of lambda, whatever answer you get. Then according to the short circuit rule, since this value is you can say when this value is less than 0.25 lambda, you just have to add 0.25 lambda to it and get the values. Now what we will do is we'll directly start how we have done in Smith chart. First of all, I hope you remember we are not plotting ZL for this problem, we are plotting YL. I showed you the steps by which we can have a shortcut. That YL point was coming out to be as 2 plus j 2 plus root 3 2 for your this is your 2. Can you see this, everybody? This is the 2 circle, resistance circle 2, and this is just 3.732 j they must have got, so they have just plotted that. So you got your YL. After that, what do? Plot the VSWR circle. So the VSWR circle is plotted. Once the VSWR circle YL is over, you will see this VSWR circle and the unity gain circle are intersecting at 2 points. This has been told to you. So that 2 points in clockwise direction, the first one they have taken as this point. Can you see this? First is this one, and the second point they have written as YD dash. And YD dash, and how do you find the D1 and D2? If you remember, D1 and D2 was the distance between YD and YL. Am I right? So YD and YL. YD, it is coming, this point was coming as 0.302 lambda, and here it is coming 0.215 lambda. When you take the difference between the two, whatever value you get, that becomes your YD. It's marked here. You can see it clearly. Am I right? Yes. This is YD. Now for YD dash, you can observe the formula. The formula says it is the distance between YD dash and YL, but in clockwise direction. So can you see this? They have made a big one like this. Actually, they're supposed to take it from here. Yeah, the big one from here to here. So how do I find it? So I have taken 0.5 minus, I've taken the entire thing, 0.5 minus 0.217 plus 0.202. When you do this, you get the distance between the two distances, and it is 0.485 lambda. I hope I don't want to make it over here. If you want, I'll just use some other color and show what we wanted. I'm supposed to find this, I'm saying. I'm just extending this, students. I'm just making it up. I'm saying I am finding this distance. I am finding this distance. So for this distance, that formula I took, it is 0.5 minus half part, then add the remaining part, and you will get the distance between the two. In clockwise direction, you should go. So this way we got D1 and D2. Now we are finding the length of transmission line. For length of transmission line, I'll take one more. Yes, continuing for the session. The remaining part, if I want to plot YS1. This YS1 by calculation I got plus J 5.4. So plus J 5.4 is by calculation we got, they had got plus J 5.2. You can do the calculation if it is matching real well and good, but I couldn't manage it. I just got plus J 5.4. I will be plotting that plus J 5.4, and approximately value of that lambda will come as 0.219 lambda. And this 0.219 lambda, since it is less than 0.25 lambda, I will be adding it to it, and my L1 will become 0.469 lambda. Similarly, they found out for the other one. So YS1 dash became minus J 5.4. So can you see over here they have plotted minus J 5.2. In terms of lambda, that value will be greater than 0.25. So you just subtract it, and the final answer you will get it as 0.031 lambda. This is how you are going to solve this problem, and finally you will put it in the circuit diagram which I have shown in the first slide.